Hey, it's Kathleen Woodhouse, and I'm wondering what causes are most important to you. For me, I have two main causes that I want to continue to support in my business, and that is literacy and clean water. So, as far as literacy goes, I have a teaching background. I used to tutor, I've taught ESL classes as well as adult basic education. And I think it's so important for people to have the opportunity to learn how to read, not only in the United States, but around the world. And I think, what we learn is what will help us to continue to make a difference in the world. And so it's so important to have that opportunity to be exposed to different ideas and different environments through reading. And it wasn't always that case for me. I was always, taken to the library, and we had the library in school, and my mom loved to read, but I didn't like to read until after I had graduated high school. Even one of my high school teachers had asked me what I like to read, and I told her I don't. I only read, what I had to read in school, and just even didn't even like doing that. But then she said, you just haven't found what you love to read. And then there was a book that I was exposed to during Color Guard. One of my instructors was reading pieces of it, and I connected to part of it. It was called Mastery. And, I just loved learning from that book. And like I said, I really connected to a passage in there, and so I asked for it for Christmas. And then I turned it over, and on the back of the book, I saw that it was the self-help, personal development, and now there's so much of that. And that's what I love to read the most. And so I just learned what it was that I like to read, and then continued to read about it. A lot of the personal development is, people's stories and what they've learned and how they've succeeded in business and finance and those kinds of things. And that's what I love. But finding what you love to read is so important, and that's something I want to share with more people, and have a greater impact, whether that's finding more tutors to help people learn, or financially sourcing so that there can be more tutors. I did a volunteer, it was over a year. I worked with a woman. I was in my late 20s and she was in her 70s, and I volunteered through Literacy CNY, Central New York, where I grew up. And I volunteered and taught her how to read and write, and we even kept in contact for a while, where she would write me letters and I would write her back, and she was able to read them and to write them. And so that was an amazing experience. She had not had the opportunity to go to school. She grew up on a farm and only could go to school when the weather was so bad that they didn't work outside on the farm. And so she had always wanted to read and never gave up. And that experience actually led me to learn that I love to work with adults as well, because I already had the teaching background, which was for elementary, but I wanted to, after that experience, I said, I love working with people who don't want to give up on their goals and their dreams. And, that led me to working with adults and to coaching, so that I could help people to reach their goals, and no matter how old they were and what their goals were. Of course, I want to help people with positive goals that are going to contribute to the world. And so that's why I'm asking today what your bigger impact is, because I want to inspire people to have that greater impact. And so even though maybe your business is helping with websites locally, that's okay too. But is there a greater cause, that you can share to as well as you grow and continue to succeed? And another thing that, I'm reminding myself today as well is that, you don't have to have your business be to a certain level before you do this. So, you can share a post on one of your social media channels, or, as I am sharing through my newsletter, or whatever it may be. Maybe you are in a point where you can financially contribute and do a donation, or maybe there's a website or a race or something that's coming that you want to support. And so think about different ways that you can contribute to the larger cause. And if you haven't thought already, what would that be for you? So I mentioned literacy was one that I'm very passionate about. The other for me is clean drinking water. I lived in a place not too far in Texas. Like I had grown, I'm sorry. I had, when I first moved there, I had visited a friend, and their water, I went to drink it, and my body literally like moved away from the glass. And I was like, there's something wrong with this water. Well, a few years later, I lived there, and I was like, I cannot drink this water. I knew something was wrong with it. Well, it turned out there was a Facebook page. People were, a neighborhood page where people were sharing that things were happening to their dogs and their loved ones, and like new people would move in and say, "What's wrong with this water?" And this is just someplace, new residential area. That now it's been there probably at least 10 years, but the water was not good, and so they got it tested, and there was chemicals and things in the water that should not have been there, and it was causing sickness in people. And that's just here in the United States. And then in other countries, where children have to actually go, and they can't go to school or do something, where they're actually traveling far distances to bring clean water to their families. And so that's something that's really important to me, that I want to work towards, to be able to have the funds to help to have clean drinking water for people, as big of an impact as I can. I need to set specific goals for that, but these are things I'm going to work on for my goals for next year, of having more ways to start tying my business into the bigger causes that I have. And so I guess my challenge to you is just to think about, who it is that you want to serve in the bigger way, and how can you start doing that now, even if you don't have the high funding that you might think you need. Of course, you can work towards that, but awareness is one thing that you can start with. And so I challenge you to bring that to your customers and clients, and start tying in your causes. It'll also help motivate you in your business as well, to think you're not just getting up and, trying to earn money for yourself or maybe your family, but, a bigger cause as well. And that might keep you going and push you to do a little bit more each day. So let me know what your causes are, and what ideas you have for how you can tie in your causes to your business currently, even without the funding that you might desire. All right. Well, I'm Kathleen Woodhouse, and as you know, love your soul and you will light the world. Thank you for watching.